It was a massive shock. So obviously no one's safe. Everyone went to bed the first evening thinking it could be me. It's a low chance because in the first day, there's the largest number of people. So the odds are the smallest that anyone would go. And also, I had done my very best to not reveal many fundamental aspects of myself that would be a bit threatening. So, for example, my qualifications, my Doctor of Communication status, that PhD, didn't say a single thing even remotely close to that to anybody on the castle or in the train. Yet, I suppose I still came across as intelligent and observant, analytical. So, yeah, it was a shock. But having watched the first episode, knowing who the traitors are, it makes sense to me why it happened. Actually, so the one I had semi-expected was Linda. I did
Okay.
think that there would be more of a matriarchal figure, someone who's really funny, has a lot of character, and adds that dimension to the turret. I didn't expect the combination of Armani and Mina. I didn't think Armani would be selected, period. Because when I sat next to her on the train, we had that lovely chat before the mission began, and Claudia's voice came and said, someone has to leave each carriage. She came across as very, very revealing of details of herself and her sister Maya as well. Like they said they were sisters within a second of meeting me. I thought people who are so transparent about themselves surely couldn't be chosen to be traitors. That was completely wrong. But with these things, first impressions tend to be all over the place, right? So little signal on that first day anyway. Great question. So I had a game plan and I was beginning to execute it, but I just didn't have enough time to more fully execute it. That was my biggest enemy. The short time to the first murder, the shortest of any season of Traitors. It was like immediately after the roundtable selection of the traitors, little evening chat, and then right, someone's off to be murdered that evening. I wasn't expecting that twist because then it really is just who have you actually met in that short time? And I sat next to one of the traitors, a very influential one, Armani on the train, right? So I think that was the bit I couldn't control, but the plan is the same. And I would have done a similar thing, been playful and whimsical and just kept saying silly things and sang to people to disarm them and delight them. That was the other plan. And my wardrobe, sorry, if I could add that last bit, I packed 50 kilograms of clothing and accessories. And I did have a number of pieces that would further help reduce my potential threatening demeanor. So, for example, I had this lovely cardigan, which is solid pink with massive three-dimensional red hearts and bows on the sleeves all over. My plan was, oh, how could I be a traitor? Like I've got literal hearts on my sleeves, and my face. Like I showcase my emotion too obviously. So that was the plan to use clothing as another element of persuasion. If you are playing the game in a way where the persona is so misaligned with how you and your close ones see yourself, that could backfire and you might regret doing that. There's a balance between you have to project a persona and it can't be absolutely just 100% authentic you, whether faithful or traitor. I think we all have to hide some aspects of ourselves. I think it's just to make sure that the moment you enter that game and begin to meet people, that just be super, super hyper aware. Don't be too relaxed. Um, and just begin playing from the very get-go. Um, the other thing I've learned is just how complex it is to orchestrate this. I mean, you see the cast on the screens, but what we don't see is all the wonderful teams, the infrastructure and the operations of the whole production. I hadn't realized just how vast all of it was, and it felt like a massive team effort, like a team storytelling attempt. So as intense as the experience was, I think ultimately there's two things that stand out. One is that it is a very, very, very supportive environment. And to counteract all the backstabbing on the screen, there's a lot of love and welfare behind the scenes. And that was phenomenal. And the second thing is that for me personally, it didn't feel very intense at all, which sounds crazy. It was like a mindfulness retreat because I could, for the first time really in my life, focus on just this one thing without distractions of internet technology.